Let's welcome on board Hemang Jani as well to discuss the outlook for the markets. And Hemang, I'm just going to take forward from those, bites that we heard out from the managements of Godrej Consumer and Britannia. They are talking about rural seeing a recovery. Inflation continues to remain a bit of a pain point, and now premiumization is going to be the key focal area. How have you assessed the quarterly numbers from the entire FMCG basket? Do you think that the slowdown is worrying? It's going to continue into the coming quarters, or was a bit of a one-off?
Good morning and thanks for having me. So, yes, see, consumer companies, particularly the staple and FMCG companies, are going through a great amount of slowdown. And when you look at the quarterly numbers, by and large, things were not that positive. Uh, the only thing is that the market reaction to some of those numbers was a bit of a surprise because it's not as if that HUL or Nestle will report a very high, single digit kind of a volume growth. And in case of HUL, Britannia, the numbers were pretty much in line. But because the sector or the theme was out of flavor, the market reaction was slightly exaggerated. So we need to see how this Q3 pans out. Godrej Consumer, again, the guidance was muted. So if you see any a positive surprise in terms of volume growth or management commentary, obviously the sector could bounce back. So I think Britannia, maybe HUL, these are some of the companies that we would surely be, looking out to participate if there is a slight bit of positive data point.
Very good morning to you, Hemang. This is Shailu joining in the conversation. And if you talk about this entire year, in the year 2024, one sector that stood out, actually not most of us have spoken about it, that has to be the healthcare sector. And in healthcare, I want to talk about the hospital space because there's been a lot of consolidation, be it with the listed players or the ones that are unlisted players, a lot of consolidation that we've actually seen in the hospital space. If you look at the BSE Healthcare Index, that one has seen a rapid rise of about 40% or so far this year. So what's your take on this entire hospital theme? Because now we are evolving, we are consolidating, and also we are trying to actually go ahead and offer a global healthcare kind of services, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a space, healthcare has done pretty well. And when you look at some of the pan-India top players, be it Apollo Hospitals, some of the other niche, companies, Max Healthcare, or a bit of a regional kind of play, Narayan Ridalai, I think most of these companies have, been doing a fairly decent job. And some of these companies are in an expansion phase. So Max Healthcare is looking to expand in a big way. That's true for Narayan Ridale also. So I do think that for the investors who are looking for a steady, 15, 18% kind of a CAGR growth, having some exposure to names like Apollo Hospitals, Max, or for that matter, Narayan Ridale would surely make sense.
All right. Very good morning, Hemang. Just from the healthcare space, particularly on the core pharma space, if you can help us with your take, because in the market correction, what we have seen is that all these major pharma names from the likes of Cipla, Lupin, they are also seen to be a bit under pressure. But given the prospects with the new government in the US and the kind of announcements that we are seeing, and if we see the kind of IPM data that is also flowing in, there's no major weakness as such in the domestic market as well. So all in all, any particular area where you are seeing that the valuations are comforting at this point in time?
So, my take on pharma is that the top league, the generic companies, steady state performance, decent growth. So, Sun, Cipla, Dr. Reddy, even Lupin for that matter, I think these companies have been performing well. The pricing pressure in US is easing for many categories. So, one should surely have a positive view and large allocation towards that. CDMO, I think we had a bit of a, good ride. But now that, we have mixed signals as far as Biosecure Act is concerned about its implementation, you are going through a bit of a volatility. But I do think that Laurus Labs, DVs, would provide you a good opportunity if there is a mild correction over there. The overall bias continues to be quite positive. So I think pharma would remain one of the better performing sectors this quarter. It was one of the best performance in terms of earnings growth, about 14-15%.
Let me come to you, Hemang. I want to ask you about the PSUs, and in fact, if I could extend that apart from PSUs, the capex related theme, because if you see the buzzword or the buzz theme, if you could put it end of last year till mid this year, had to be the PSU sector, be it defense, be it railways, be it infra names, be it power names. But that sort of a rally fizzled out in the latter half of this year. If you look at it, most of these counters saw a sharp correction. Now they're trying to make a comeback. What's your take on it, especially all of them who are actually putting their faith that you are likely to see a rebound in the government spending come H2 of FY25?
Yeah, I do think that some of these companies which have corrected quite sharply in the past 2 months are showing a good rebound. And it's not just the stock price rebound, but when you look at the numbers, the order inflow and the guidance part also, some of them are showing a lot of promise. So whether it's Bharat Electronics, HAL, I think both these companies delivered good set of numbers, and we do think that from a core investment perspective also, there is a merit in looking at some of these companies. And some of the power companies, particularly NTPC is something that we like, and we think that given that there is a demerger in the listing of the NTPC green IPO, and the core business and more so the renewable part is showing a lot of promise. So we would have a positive view, but one should be far more selective when it comes to some of these PSU baskets, because not that everything is going to go up like what we saw probably last 1.5 years. It's going to be a bit of a niche selective companies that you should look at.
Time, Hemang, curious to get in your take as well on the likes of a Bajaj Finance. You've got Jeffrey's latest note out talking about how the medium-term earnings impact now is going to be a bit limited and there will be a bit of an improvement in the asset quality. What's your view on Bajaj Finance?
Bajaj Finance has actually underperformed, the Nifty or the even Bank Nifty for that matter. But we do think that given the kind of divergence that we are seeing, where the microfinance is going through so much of stress, there is going to be a preference for a far more, stable kind of a player like Bajaj Finance. And the management meet that was there day before was also quite encouraging, on most of the operating parameters, be it AUM growth or the disbursement. I think the company is doing well. And when you have a case where the CRR has been cut, or going forward, if there is going to be a rate cut, I do think that some of the, NBFCs will be better placed when it comes to margins also. So positive view on Bajaj Finance from a medium to long term perspective.
So that's the take coming on Bajaj Finance. Hemang, let me come to you and let me talk about a sector that's of late been very much in news, and that has to be the cement sector. No doubt the consolidation is underway in that particular space as well. But what's making headlines of late is the cement prices or cement price hike that these players have taken pan-India. But the problem, what brokerage houses are also indicating, is that despite the way how the prices have been moving, the demand has not been that great. So there are chances that, the cement companies may look at the way how the demand is panning out, may look to roll back or not roll back. What's your take on this entire cement space and the way how the pricing is moving and how it will impact the financials of these companies?
So I do think that the pricing is getting better, and after almost 2 years of low margins, now I think cement sector could show a bit of a rebound in terms of operating margins. Also, the core story when it comes to the the real estate sector doing well, the government spending could come back in a big way. So I do think that the overall dispatch growth is going to be good. There is a fair bit of consolidation as you see more and more. Some of the companies in different regions are being acquired by the incumbent players. So that also bodes well. So I do think that it makes sense to go for some of the companies in the large cap, maybe Ultratech, Ambuja. And in the mid cap, I do think that JK Lakshmi, some of the South-based companies like Madras Cement, Ramco Cement, they do present a good, entry point at this point.
All right, but Hemang, I'm coming back to you to have your take on the steel counters, because it's just today that Morgan Stanley has come out with a note that what they're highlighting is that the steel sector is seeing seeing some green shoots for spread expansion in 2025, and they believe that the steel counters should do well in 2025 as well. So what's your take? Do you agree with this particular view and any of the top bets from this particular sector? This question is for you.
Is this for me?
Yes, Hemang, for you.
Yeah. So steel, I think, is showing a good amount of rebound. I think primarily on the hopes of a better stimulus from China. And we've seen that the iron ore prices also have remained good. And if you have a rate cut where the probability is high, then surely it will help the entire, metal sector per se. So we do like Tata Steel. We do think that some of the pellet players like Godavari Power are also better placed because the spreads are getting better. And maybe something like a Jindal Steel and Power, which is a slightly better captive, unit when it comes to the raw material, is also better placed. So I think one should go with a positive bias as far as steel companies are concerned, primarily because of the way things are panning out on the stimulus front.
All right, so that's the take coming in from Hemang on that note. Thank you so much, Hemang, for being the part of the show and sharing your views on a whole host of sectors, fundamentally where they are headed.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.